Morning, welcome to Sacred Enzyme. I'm Stacy. Hope you're doing well today. So this will be my second take. I've had nothing but obstacles this morning about bringing this information forward. So we're going to try this again. So we're referring to this line that's on this map from the Ascension Glossary. That is the Amenti Gates. Okay. All right. So today we're going to be talking about two very important lines, longitudinal lines on here. We're going to be talking about the 80 to 82 degree longitudinal line that's here. And we're also going to be talking about the 111 to 113th line that is right here. You see these two lines right here? They go up through here. These are going to be the two lines that we're talking about. Now these go up one side and down the other. So they're mirroring each other on the front and the back, okay? All right. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you is this atlas. All right, so this atlas is an atlas that my parents, we used to use when we traveled as a child. All right, so I want to talk about this map here, and I'm going to try to do it this way. I had my easel up, and then my neighbor was walking her dog, so then it just screwed up my whole video. So I have this map here, and I want to talk about these spots that are on here that I have colored. All right, so you see these two lines right here? These are 80 and 82, so everything in between 80 and 82 is important nodes on this map. These lines that are going this way are marking the opposite way, and where they intersect are called nodes. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you what a node is. A node is a crossroad. So imagine the planet like a bag that onions come in, for example. And you know how you have, it's like a mesh bag, right? So the Earth is kind of like that because we're living in a hologram. The strings are like paths, like water, wind, magnetism, migration, and attention, and the knots are where they meet. Those are nodes. So where those nodes meet, they amplify like a phone tower or a busy street intersection. They make whatever flows through them louder. So if love is there, it will amplify love. Fear, same thing. Chaos, whatever. You know, this is why these spots right here are so important on this map, all right? So the bigger the nodes are, the more strands they have feeding in and out of them. Some crossing, they tie many lines together at once. So this is why you have a lot of these curvy rivers that are around a lot of these places. All right. Okay, so we have different kinds of nodes on this map because we're looking at the planet as a living being, okay? So we have the mother's overlay. We have her heart node, her womb nodes, her umbilical port nodes, and her brain and her vision nodes. So no type is better, but these are the four nodes, and we all carry codes. Sometimes we carry all four of these codes because we have been on these nodes. Okay, so what I want to talk about on this map is I want to talk about the four horsemen. So we have on here listed the white horseman, the black horseman, the pale horseman, and then when you get further down, you get down by Venezuela, you get this souls of the slain and a great earthquake corridor. So anyway, all of these nodes sit near major tectonic, hydrological, or magnetic boundaries, which makes sense physically if we think in terms of energetic conductivity, like water and mineral and geomagnetic interactions, okay? So the 80 to 82 degree west corridor passes through the East Coast and then goes to the Bahamas, Bimini, where the Atlantic Memory Complex is, into Colombia, Ecuador, and the Andes. Okay, so this connects North America's political military capital, Florida's crystalline ridge, and South America's ancient equatorial grid, forming one of the planet's longest continuous meridian spines. Okay, so symbolically, red is the catalyst between white and black. And I like to explain this like if you have black hair and you want to dye your hair blonde, okay? Your hair is going to turn red because your hair only goes 4 levels and it stops. So unless you take it an extra processing, you can't get those extra 4 levels. So basically red is in between black and white. All right, so I'm going to show you up here on this line. This is the Michigan corridor area. Michigan is very, very important in this whole ascension process that we're in right now. In this last time, there's a lot of people that have been trafficked that were born out of this area. I was born in Adrian. I was born right here in this node. All right, the other thing I want to bring attention to you is this Highway 31. I talked to you about 13 being the number of the mother. 13 lunar solar months in a solar year. 13 divine mothers, goddesses at the pantheon. 13 tones in the Maya Trollkin. 13 steps of initiation in the mystery school. 13 years on her, 13 visits on her loom. She comes back on the 13th visit. 13 is her number. Okay, she sits in the middle of the 12. All right, so they invert her by using 31. And then by taking 31 and then abusing children and putting them in programs. And see, this line leads all the way up to Mackinac Island. And there's a big thing up there that's kind of like what the elites like to do. And that's because this is on an energy node. Okay? This is why they do what they do in Mackinac Island. And I've been there. I was born in Michigan, and I've been to Mackinac Island. Been there on a trip with my family. Spent the night there. So if you come down further down this this area in between these two longitudinal lines, you'll see these circles that I've got. So I've got Michigan circled. Then I've got this area circled. Then I have this area, these 2 areas, and then this one. So the three of the 4 horsemen are this. You have right here, this is the white horseman. Right here, which is the black horseman. And actually the node is here, inside of here, but I circled this out because I wanted to bring the attention to the fact that this line, longitudinal, this latitudinal line that comes across here into here intersects with DC. See, if you bring them across, you'll see all the important tie-ins because these are all connected. They connect this way, they connect this way. So everything is a grid, guys. Everything is a grid, and it's all energy lines. Where they meet are decision points. The biggest decisions of the eon is going to be right here. Asheville in the mountains. This is the red point. This is in between dark, light and dark, light and dark. Okay, so this is halfway between this corridor and the Florida corridor is the red corridor. And ironically, Asheville is where Biltmore Estate is. Gloria Vanderbilt was a high red queen for the artificial Cicero matrix, the Amy mother type, the artificial mother. She had this, and this is where a lot of training came out of for kids that were in the programs, and some really bad stuff, according to Jesse Sabodar. Spent a lot of time there. So this point right here in Asheville is the red point. This is very, very important. So then, if you come between here, the black horseman, and the pale horseman that's in Florida, the halfway point is in Georgia, right here around Aiken, okay? So Aiken, around Aiken, Georgia, is the halfway point between the black horseman and the pale horseman. In between the pale horseman and the other pale horseman, you've got the red, and then you've got the red center that's right here in the middle. All right, so why is this important? Because these are decision points, and the energy that is magnified in these areas, because you know these are just energy points. They don't care. They don't care. They're going to amplify whatever's there. So if something's on top of these spots that is creating a type of energy field, that is what's going to feed these apocalyptic horsemen. Does this make sense? This is why grid work is so important. Okay, so as Mother said, not to be let down, everything has a mirror, right? Okay, but I want to show you real quick down here. So these lines go across, and they go all through the United States, and I'm going to do a video tomorrow, a live with Zachary Denman, and he's on YouTube. We're going to do a live, and we're going to go over all of these different ley lines, but I wanted to talk a little bit about this with my own viewers so we get a better understanding. So these run this way, all the way across, and these are special lines too, okay? But what I want to show your attention to is down here in Florida. So where this line runs across and intersects, because this line shows Highway 60. This node right here is Fort Pierce. This node over here is Sarasota. And Highway 60, or Hesperides Road, is the road that goes between these two places. There's Charlie Kirk statues on both sides of the state. Okay? All right, so I also want to show you the mirrored side of it. The mirrored side, which is the 111 to 113. This is, remember I told you that 11 means the pillars. 11 means the pillars. That's the mirror. This is a solar gateway here. This is solar line. And then look at this, the places that we have circled here. We've got Phoenix. We've got Baja, California, like San Cabos. This sits on a very important energy node, right? Because if you trace across, let's trace across the red line over here. The red line we get right here. And I don't know if you can see this, but this is right north of Arizona and south of Utah, and it's right by the Grand Canyon. See? This is on the line where Asheville is, the red line. Okay? So we've got these states that are here. And ironically, if you see right here, that's where Charlie was killed. That's on a node right here. So let's trace this back across, and I'll show you what line this one's sitting on. This one lines up right here with Cleveland, which is an anchor node. This is 41 north by 81 west. 81 west ties in both of these triangulations. Remember I told you that Charlie had a house here, and then he bought a house in Sarasota, right, in Longboat Key. But he had a house in Phoenix, but he was actually up here by Chicago, right? So we're talking about node placement here. This is why his assassination was ritualistic, because it was to hold this false hologram in place, because we're breaking through. We're breaking through, guys. So I'm going to go into more of this stuff tomorrow when I talk with Zachary about it, because we're going to go deep into it. But, you know, so the question is that we have to, what can we do to change the tide? Like, what can we do? And, you know, it's not really hard. It's not really hard. So what I want to do is, I want to talk about cleaning water, tuning water, because water listens and carries patterns. So when we calm water with song, prayer, and breath, and pour it at a node, and we pour it at a node, the node magnifies that calm along all its lines, okay? All right. It's like sending a clear tone through the whole mesh. All right, so hold clean water. 3 slow breaths. Whisper or hum one word, like peace, thank you, forgive, or love, whatever you're feeling today that you need to put forth. I think that we all need to give love and gratitude today. I'm very grateful. And then you would, at your sacred node that you are at, like Angela, if you're watching, you pour it at roots, springs, or soil. And then you visualize that tone, that humming tone of gratitude, traveling the grid, just illuminating and lighting it up. Like I was telling some of the listeners that I've communicated with personally, because I communicate freely and willingly as service to the reciprocity of the universe and unleashing ourselves from the entanglement of being chained to this planet. That we've talked about us illuminating this grid, that I had this vision of basically like white lines just shooting across these scalar grids. These points just lit up and everything just went like that. And it all lit up. Everybody was connecting and we were lighting up the grid. And I knew at that point in time that we were the key, that we do it. Okay, so why heirloom seeds I'm always talking about? Okay, so heirloom seeds are the original memory, folks. They're the original memory, the unaltered code. Do not use hybrid seeds. In tuned soil, they reinstall the land's native songs. Sharing them spreads that memory between these nodes. Okay? And the way coral spreads a reef. So what we need to do is, if we are living on these nodes, guys, you need to become part of the Earth Exchange program. And I've talked about the Earth Exchange program on the last video that I did about taking you to tour the community garden spot. You want to go back and go to the end and you can hear all about the Earth Exchange program. Okay? So a quick method to do your seeds is to moisten your seeds with your spit, your enzymes, right? And plant at the right moon or the season for your region. And then you resave these seeds and you share them with your friends. But one thing to keep in mind is that if you're growing multiple different types of the same type of vegetable, like if you're growing multiple different types of tomatoes or beans or anything like that, don't plant your varieties in the same bed, because that contaminates the original strand. They hybridize, they air pollinate. So they have to be like 10 feet away or 8 feet away minimal. You'd have to look it up, but you have to separate your beds out. You can companion plant it with all other kinds of different things, just not the same thing. You know, you can't plant lima beans with pinto beans because they mess each other up. You have to plant the pinto beans over here and the lima beans over here. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So how a node switch works. So the input is what people repeatedly bring. A tone, a behavior, a ritual, a sacrifice. The amplifier is what the node turns up. It turns up whatever that tone or that behavior is. So it's getting crunked up. The output, that area feels more of it. And not to mention that area is where we had those devastating floods, and it's sitting on top of a lot of lithium. All right. So the feedback, today's output becomes tomorrow's input. Think about it. Until a new, stronger tone replaces it. So nodes don't judge. They don't judge. They just magnify what's ever there. So it's our job to feed the tone that we want fed back to us, guys. Okay? So node tuning. Anyone can do this. If you go to one of these sacred spaces, and I encourage everyone to please go to the sacred spots. When you arrive, I want you to have 4 nice breaths. I want you to listen for water, wind, and birds. Okay? Pick up litter, pour a cup of tuned water, or sing. Give a piece of your hair. I offer my hair when I go to these very, 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 very sacred spots and I don't have anything, and I run across a seed or something that I know would be good for the Earth Exchange program because it's a sacred spot and I'm trying to put these sacred codes back together for the universe. I will leave some of my hair as an offering because my hair is very sacred. It's carrying my storage memories. This is my antenna. Okay? So, name the function. Like, what do you think that space is? Does it feel like, you know, it's emotion? Does it feel like it's a heart node? Or does it feel like it's a womb node? Are you feeling it down here? you know? Is it the brain node? Are you feeling it in your head, right? Is it the umbilical? So the act and functions, the heart is kindness and reconciliation. And so the womb is planting and repairing. The umbilical is exchange and blessing. Remember, if you've been having a lot of problems with your stomach lately, and I have been, because we've been getting a lot of exchanging from the primordial mother through our umbilical cord, okay? But a lot of people also have attachments, and so you have to do the visualization techniques, and you have to renounce all these. I put on my communities on the YouTube channel a thing that you can do to reclaim your sovereignty, and it's there for free, and it works. Okay, so the brain is truth and clarity. So you close and you thank the place, and you promise a small return action. Give your hair, leave some seeds, sing a song, you know. So how to tell that you're near a node? Okay, so trail forks, river crossings, springs, where an estuary is, where salt water and fresh water are meeting, very, very sacred. Headlands and ridge saddles. You'll get a sensation that'll come over you. It'll feel like, you'll feel the energy there. It feels thicker, like you feel like there's a lot of wildlife you're noticing there, like a lot of birds there, or you'll just see wildlife everywhere. You'll see a lot of people there too, because people get attracted to these. And one thing you'll notice is that, like, if you hear birds singing, the sound carries interestingly, almost like an echo. You'll hear it with the birds. It carries oddly. And you'll see repeated symbols. And so the map clues is many lines meet, watersheds, old roads, and property corners and sacred sites like Bach Tower, like Kissimmee River, like Hesperides Road. On Hesperides Road, at each end of Hesperides Road, is Fort Pierce and Sarasota. 2 Charlie Kirk statues sitting on each one of these places, anchoring that in, guys. The other thing is that they're also building statues in Texas and Arizona. Oh, Utah, excuse me. Utah. These are all on this line here, guys. They're building a grid. They're trying to reestablish a frequency fence, I'm telling you. So, I wanted to also talk about an interesting thing, because, you know, it's been a while since we talked about fire words, but, you know, fire words are the original word, and it's a song word, and this is what the Hebrews speak. So when I was studying the places on this map to find out where they were, I ran across this neighborhood that's in D.C. where all of these politicians and uber-rich people are moving to, and it's called Kalorama, okay? Ka means infinite life. Lo means share, flow. Ra, obviously, Ra, right? But it's really supposed to be Ray. And Ma is anchoring earth. So, you know, if you're having a ritual there and chanting that, it becomes a restorative mantra for coherence between body, breath, sun, and soil. It's a ritual point, folks. I mean, I tell you what, you can't even make this stuff up anymore. So we've got the white horsemen roughly over the Great Lakes. We've got the pale horsemen over the Gulf region. We've got the red in-between area, the total decision node, which is in Asheville, North Carolina. I mean, man. And then we have the black horseman, which is over Appalachia, guys, over the mountains. So I'd love to hear what you have to say about that. I mean, it's pretty interesting. I mean, this corridor goes all the way around the earth. I mean, everything is happening here. It goes to Bimini, through the Bahamas, Colombia, Ecuador, Andes. So, I mean, this is intersecting everything. So when you come and find me, I'll be here, because we're living in the past, the present, and the future, all at the same time. So don't forget to get outside today and get some fresh air. Put your feet in the grass. Set your intentions for today, guys. We got to set our intentions every day. Give thanks to our Heavenly Father and our Mother Earth. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share the video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.